All right, welcome to Rapid Fire Manufacturing. Today I'm joined by Eddie Saunders Jr. He's the founder and chief empathy officer of SpeakFriend. You've probably seen him at MTD CNC running around at IMTS filming. He's doing a wonderful job with that. He has over 14 years of experience crafting marketing campaigns for some of the world's leading industrial brands, and he's mastered the art of storytelling. Eddie, thank you so much for joining.
Hey man, it's seriously awesome to be here. It's a beautiful day and always a great day to have a great day, man. I'm talking with you, man. Like let's go.
I appreciate that. All right, let's jump into the first question then. So, you've empathized the role of empathy in your industrial marketing. How do you believe incorporating empathy into content strategy impacts customer engagement and drives demand in the manufacturing sector?
Sure. And so I love to start with this because, and I also love being associated with the word empathy because to me, and especially in the modern world, I believe it is a superpower. And so when it comes to that, there's also something that I have to break kind of a stigma or misunderstanding between empathy and sympathy. So sympathy is recognizing someone's feelings. That person is sad. Okay, we understand it. But empathy is inserting yourself into those feelings, embracing, wrapping those feelings around you. And I believe that if you take it a step further, because empathy, in my understanding and my experience, is that step further. And does it require more effort? Yes. But do you extract much more information, understanding, and perspective every single time? And so as I tie that in, so you're thinking, what in the world does that have to do with marketing? Well, in all reality, to me, I understand if we're talking about revenue operations or, whatever we can do to increase our bottom line, increase that return, because I don't see it as a siloed sales and marketing. I'm really starting to shift my mind, and a lot of other industries are, towards revenue operations so we can put those things together. But if we think about those two functions, what are we trying to do? We're trying to cue human decision. And that's from awareness phase all the way to close phase. And so in my understanding, if we're trying to cue human decisions, one, we have to create awareness, and then we have to therefore solidify that understanding. And how do we best do that? We do that by putting ourselves into the perspectives of those who we're trying to attract. So when we're making our content, far too many brands and individuals make things that they think works good for me, and I call it the I marketing. Not your physical I, but the letter I, where I think this, I say this, I talk like this, I make decisions like this, therefore I would want to receive messaging in this way. And that's not empathy, that's the quite literal opposite of that, if you will. That's very selfish, and that's very self-centered and egocentric. I think, therefore it is. And so I flip that whole idea on its head, and I'm marketing for them, so it allows myself and other brands that really need it the most to reverse engineer their messaging with intention, so that not only strikes the audience correctly, but they can engage with it and actually want to. All positive things for any brand that exists on the planet.
So it's putting yourself in the position of the customer, not what you want or the company wants, what they want, right?
100%. You see a lot of people who are, we've been marketing since the beginning of marketing and doing features and benefits because we could get away with it for a while. But now information is a commodity in 2024. I can learn so much about you before ever talking to you. And there are surveys that have been done in specific reports that I've even studied that, it surveyed over 900 technical buyers from the ages of 24 to 65 plus. And we learned that the vast majority of them are spending over 51% of their time online before they even hit up a company representative. So there's lots of opportunity there to control the narrative at scale and use that as a superpower for sure, because we know they're doing research, we know they're researching, but there's this big misconception of how they're doing it, when they're doing it, why they're doing it, and what messaging they need to actually cue action. And there's massive misunderstanding that I'm trying to fix.
No, it's awesome to have those. When did that moment pop up for you? Like, hey, I want to go forward with changing the way that marketing's done?
Great question. So I had spent the first 14, 15 years of my career, working for somebody else, right? And I had done some entrepreneurial endeavors in the past. So there's a new thing to me. And I've also been surrounded by other entrepreneurs. And so I feel like I learned a lot just generally by osmosis. But what really rooted this is I just noticed that the industrial marketing system is broken. It's absolutely broken. The KPI, like how we're tracking success, how we're tracking failure, it's absolutely bonkers broken. And I've worked from entities down from like 2 people all the way up to 11,000 plus corporate conglomerates. And I've even worked for the largest, media and what should I say, marketing agency within the US for a stint of my career. And so I just developed so much understanding from the, little leagues all the way up to the major leagues and beyond. And I saw a lot of inefficiencies and a lot of things that were just being done because that's the way we've always done it. And I couldn't disagree with that rhetoric and that messaging any more than I do. And so after amassing the network that I did and developing the relationships, testing and doing a lot of things and taking a toe tip, approach, as well as listening to a lot of my awesome friends and mentors, I thought I don't have to do it this way anymore because there is a better way. And I've found it and I've discovered it. And I'm going to continue optimizing it because I feel it's part of my mission. And there's so much inefficiency in the industrial marketing sector. And I felt like it's almost like a duty in a way for me to fix that because really weren't a lot of individuals out there saying, hey, this is wrong. They were just saying, hey, we can do all these great things, but someone needs to say, hey, there are inefficiencies happening. And if we don't recognize them and talk about them, we're going to be stuck on the hamster wheel of we've always done it this way.
That's a great story too. And I like that you talk about, learning by osmosis from these entrepreneurs and then learning how to really harness that superpower of empathy and use it to better marketing for the industrial space. That's really cool. Now, and that kind of leads into, what do you see the biggest challenge for manufacturers when it comes to aligning sales and marketing strategies, and how can they overcome some of those challenges?
Sales and marketing has to be on the same page. And I've been a part of too many organizations where they're siloed. And it's never good if you silo operations or finance or shipping, or like it's never good to have these organizational silos. And I'm seeing lots of breaks in all other industries where there's not even really including their sales and marketing as separate entities. And kind of when I opened up in the conversation with revenue operations, because if we think about it, sales and marketing are functions within revenue ops, right? Revenue creation. And so first taking that step and recognize, even if it's just a mindset shift. And a lot of what I've done, and some people don't know this, but the first 10 years of my career, I was strictly a professional salesperson. And I also kind of doubled down because I was selling and consulting and marketing and advertising products, platforms, and services. And so I was kind of that double threat because I knew I was just in love with marketing. But I have a lot of that experience. And so being able to take that and tie that into it really allowed me to have a better understanding of what's wrong and like what needs to happen and what's not happening. So taking it all back, knowing that there's too much silo going on between sales and marketing. We need to combine those worlds. There needs to be a lot of communication because to me, the most effective marketing is sales enablement. And that's why I think I love what I do so much, because I was that salesperson for quite literally a decade. I've read over 50 plus books on, sales, branding, marketing, human decision making. I got a street PhD in that. And it allows me to now take that empathy led understanding where I'm like, I don't need to be the salesperson. I need to understand them. So sales and marketing, talk more, communicate, know where the gaps are. Let's identify and use data to figure out where the bottlenecks are in our pipeline, so we can increase that pipeline velocity, increase those conversions, keep salespeople happy, and keep the marketing individuals feeding that revenue operations rhetoric, because that's where everybody wins.
Now, where can someone learn more about this? How can they get more involved with being empathetic and putting themselves in the customer's position?
Sure. It seems so silly and simplistic, but you got to actually make an effort to talk to the people who have said yes before. If we want to replicate and duplicate sales, AKA, we want to duplicate more yeses, we need to go directly to the people who have said yes. More importantly, we have to go to the people who enthusiastically said yes and continue to say yes. Because what we can learn from that is, why in the world did they purchase from us? We're not the only fish in the sea. We're not the only person putting ourselves out there. What do we do? What have we done? And what can we continue to do to create more of these high intent hand raisers? Because if you have an ideal customer profile or an audience that you're hitting and that you've converted, then why are you not going straight to the source and be like, how did we do this? If I make myself a really good sandwich, man, it's highly likely that I'm going to want to do that again. And how do I do that? I look, okay, what did I put on that sandwich? And now I'm hungry. But for lack of a better reference, that's what it comes down to. If we're solving this puzzle, solving this problem, and we have a solid solution we've got from point A to point B, why in the world would we not study that, optimize that, and expand upon that in order to duplicate the success in that scenario? So all that being said, we have to put the effort to talk to these customers. I, even as a third party to my clients, put effort into speaking with their customers. I will record conversations and clips and everything that I can to better understand why someone said yes, using effort as well as data every step of the way.
That's awesome. So you find the common ingredients to make that sandwich, so to speak, right? And then you can try to replicate that because you have the ingredients.
That requires sales and marketing working together. But if I really shorten that answer down, talk to the people who have said yes before. And then 2.0, figure out why they said yes in the first place. I've learned more from that than I have from any survey or report or $20 Amazon gift card for filling out this this silliness. I get that those still work maybe to some extent. They serve their purpose, but there nothing beats just going out and giving a damn and talking to your customers.
Mm-hmm. Well, Eddie, I appreciate your time, and we don't need to have coffee when Eddie's on because he's got enough energy for everyone. I love it. For those of you watching, stay tuned for more episodes in the future. And again, Eddie, thank you so much for joining.
It is awesome to be here. Thank you so much for being who you are.